Most people shopping for R-Alpha Lipoic Acid think they are buying some totally foreign antioxidant their body desperately needs. But the surprising part is this: your body already makes the R form naturally. And many of the human studies people quote online were not even done with pure R-Alpha Lipoic Acid. They were done with the mixed version called regular alpha lipoic acid, which contains both R and S forms. So here's what you're going to get in the next few minutes. You'll learn what R-alpha lipoic acid actually does, when food is probably enough, when a supplement might make sense, what dose ranges are commonly used, and what safety issues matter most. And here's one useful change you can make today. If you already take it, check whether your bottle says R-alpha lipoic acid or just alpha lipoic acid. And if you use diabetes medication, do not change your dose on your own without talking to a qualified clinician first, because this supplement can push blood sugar lower. Think of R-alpha lipoic acid like a tiny tool your mitochondria keep in their back pocket. Mitochondria are the little power plants inside your cells. This compound helps key enzymes do their jobs, so you can turn food into usable energy. That is job number one. Job number two is antioxidant support. In plain English, it helps handle chemical stress and can help recycle other antioxidants like vitamin C, vitamin E, and glutathione. Job number three is that it may influence glucose handling, meaning how your cells take up and use sugar. The important detail is that only the R form is the natural form your body makes and uses in protein-bound form. The S form shows up mostly because many supplements are made as a 50-50 mix. Your body makes lipoic acid in the mitochondria from an 8-carbon fatty acid building block. So for most healthy adults, this is not like vitamin C, where you must get it from food every day. That is why everyday R-alpha lipoic acid deficiency is not a common diagnosis in the general population. True lipoic acid synthesis problems do exist, but they are rare inherited mitochondrial disorders, not the usual reason an adult feels tired, foggy, or achy. So if you have fatigue, numbness, or blood sugar swings, it is smarter to think bigger than one supplement and talk with your clinician about common causes that are actually testable and treatable. Food-wise, this nutrient is real, but it is modest. Richer sources include organ meats like liver, kidney, and heart, and on the plant side, spinach and broccoli stand out, with smaller amounts in tomatoes, peas, and Brussels sprouts. The catch is that food contains tiny amounts compared with supplements, and the published food databases are limited. In fact, the amounts in supplements are estimated to be up to 1,000 times higher than what you would reasonably get from diet. So food matters for your overall pattern, but nobody is eating their way to a 600 milligram supplement effect with broccoli. A practical food-first move would be 1 to 2 cups of vegetables like spinach, broccoli, peas, or Brussels sprouts most days, plus 85 to 120 grams, or 3 to 4 ounces, of protein at meals if you eat animal foods. That supports health overall, even if it does not create high free lipoic acid levels in your blood. When do supplements make sense? Usually when you have a specific reason, not just because the label says antioxidant. If you are generally healthy, eating decently, and looking for a magic energy boost, food and basic lifestyle habits are more realistic starting points. Supplements become a more serious conversation when you have a condition where alpha lipoic acid has at least been studied, like diabetic neuropathy, or when a clinician wants to try it as part of a broader plan. For forms, regular alpha lipoic acid is usually the mixed R and S version. Pure R-alpha lipoic acid is the natural isomer and tends to be marketed as the premium option. The body-made form is R, and after a mixed dose, blood levels of R tend to peak higher than S, but direct human comparisons of pure R versus the mixed form are still limited, and most published human trials used the mixed version. That means pure R sounds cleaner in theory, but it is not automatically proven to work better in real life. For dose ranges, most over-the-counter products fall somewhere between 50 and 600 milligrams per serving, and the research world is used anywhere from 600 to 1,800 milligrams a day, depending on the question being studied. A good practical point is absorption. Oral alpha lipoic acid is better absorbed on an empty stomach. Taking it with food lowered peak blood levels by about 30% and total exposure by about 20% in pharmacokinetic studies. Blood levels also rise and fall quickly, usually peaking within about an hour. So if you and your clinician decide to try it, taking it about 30 minutes before a meal is a common, evidence-based way to use it. Cost matters too. On a large U.S. retailer page in March 2026, plain alpha lipoic acid products commonly sat around the low teens to high teens in U.S. dollars for 60 to 120 capsules, while R-Alpha Lipoic Acid products were often higher, with examples around $22 for 120 capsules and roughly $39 for 240 capsules. In other words, pure R usually costs more. For quality, look for clear labeling, simple ingredient lists, and third-party certifications such as NSF, and a USP-verified mark is another useful sign when available. Now, who actually needs to pay attention here? Not everyone, and this is where social media gets sloppy. There is no common, routine R-alpha lipoic acid deficiency syndrome that most adults should be trying to self-diagnose. A better self-check is this. Do you have diabetes and nerve symptoms like burning, tingling, or numbness? Do you get frequent blood sugar dips? Do you drink heavily? Are you pregnant, in cancer treatment, or taking several medications? Are you a vegan with tingling or fatigue and assuming it must be this supplement instead of asking about vitamin B12? Those questions are more useful than chasing a vague deficiency story. For labs, there is no widely used, everyday wellness panel built around R-alpha lipoic acid. In practice, you would usually discuss labs that fit your actual problem, like A1C or fasting glucose for blood sugar issues, B12 if you are vegan or on metformin, kidney and liver function if you are medically complex, and a medication review if you are taking anything that could interact. Here are 3 real-world examples. If you are the budget eater, skip the fancy bottle first. Build more meals around spinach, broccoli, peas, tomatoes, beans, eggs, fish, or lean meat. Sleep better, and only think about supplements if you have a clear goal and your clinician agrees. If you are vegan, don't assume you need R-alpha lipoic acid just because top food lists lean heavily toward animal foods. Your body still makes it. Your bigger watch out for numbness or fatigue is often B12, not this. If you have diabetes or prediabetes, this is where the conversation gets more medically relevant, but also more risky. Because alpha lipoic acid may lower blood sugar, it is exactly the group that should not freestyle with dosing. What does the evidence actually say? For diabetic nerve pain, I would call the evidence mixed, not strong. A 2024 Cochrane review found that compared with placebo, alpha lipoic acid probably has little or no effect on diabetic peripheral neuropathy symptoms after 6 months, and the review was based on 3 placebo-controlled trials with 816 adults. And AAFP evidence summaries said the same thing in plain language: little to no benefit on symptoms or impairment at 6 months and even at 24 months. NCCIH also notes that reviews in diabetic neuropathy have been inconsistent, with some studies reporting symptom improvement and others not. So if someone tells you this is a proven fix for diabetic neuropathy, that is too confident. For blood sugar and weight, the story is also more modest than the hype. NCCIH summarizes a 2019 review of 10 studies in 553 people with type 2 diabetes, showing alpha lipoic acid was no better than placebo for lowering blood sugar, cholesterol, or triglycerides. On the weight side, there is some signal, but it is small. A 2020 randomized controlled trial using pure R-alpha lipoic acid at 600 milligrams a day for 24 weeks in 81 overweight adults found a modest reduction in BMI, with greater weight loss in women and in participants with obesity. But it did not lower triglycerides, and it was not a blockbuster effect. A 2025 BMJ Open systematic review in overweight or obese adults also suggested changes in intermediate markers,
but those are not the same thing as better long-term health outcomes, and the authors noted heterogeneity between studies. So the honest summary is this: promising in some narrow situations, underwhelming in others, and nowhere near a miracle supplement.
There are also things we still do not know. We still do not know the best long-term dose for generally healthy people. We still do not know whether pure R is clearly better than the mixed form in the kinds of outcomes people care about most. And because blood levels rise quickly and then fall, we also do not know whether one daily dose, split doses, or newer delivery forms matter enough to change real-world results. That uncertainty is a big reason to be skeptical of dramatic before and after claims online. On safety, the most common side effects are boring but real: headache, heartburn, nausea, and vomiting. Stomach upset and dizziness can show up too, and higher doses seem more likely to cause nausea or vertigo. More important than the common side effects is low blood sugar. If you use insulin or other blood sugar-lowering medication, alpha lipoic acid can stack with that effect. Heavy alcohol use is another red flag, because alcohol raises the risk of thiamine deficiency, and that can make high-dose alpha lipoic acid riskier. During cancer treatment, there is also caution because its antioxidant action could potentially interfere with chemotherapy or radiation. Pregnancy is not a casual yes either. One observational report did not find harm with 600 milligrams during part of pregnancy, but the evidence is limited, so this is still a medical supervision situation, not a self-start. Keep it away from children, because overdose cases have caused seizures, acidosis, loss of consciousness, and even fatal intoxication. And here are the stop-now red flags. If you get sweating, shaking, confusion, or faintness that could be low blood sugar, stop and get help. If you get hives, throat tightness, wheezing, or facial swelling, think allergic reaction. If there is repeated vomiting, severe dizziness, seizure, or altered thinking, that is not a wait-and-see moment. There is also a rare but important syndrome called insulin autoimmune syndrome, where alpha lipoic acid has triggered dangerous hypoglycemia in predisposed people. Rare is not never. Let's do the lightning round. Myth 1. If it's natural, it must be harmless. Wrong. Hemlock is natural too, and even this supplement can cause hypoglycemia, interactions, and overdose problems. Myth 2. R-Alpha Lipoic Acid is automatically proven better than regular alpha lipoic acid. Not yet. It is the natural form, but the human head-to-head evidence is still thin. Myth 3. If you feel tired, you must be low in it. No. Fatigue is common and nonspecific, and most adults make their own. So here's the takeaway. R-alpha lipoic acid is a real compound with a real role in energy metabolism. Your body already makes the R form. Food contains small amounts, especially organ meats, spinach, and broccoli, but supplements deliver far larger doses. The evidence for major benefits is mixed, with the strongest hype often outpacing the science. The biggest practical issues are the form you choose, the dose, the timing on an empty stomach, and the safety check for blood sugar, alcohol use, pregnancy, cancer treatment, and medication interactions. One action you can take today is simple. Look at your supplement shelf and ask, why am I taking this? What form is it? And what medication could it clash with? That 1 minute of honesty can save you money and maybe keep you safer. And tell me in the comments, have you tried regular alpha lipoic acid or pure R-alpha lipoic acid? And did you notice anything real, good or bad? Share your experience in the comments and let us know what supplements you would like to learn about next.